I see you slowly getting ready. Let's see if we are ready.
The presentation you have a ticker? Yes, but the presentation you can open there, right? I didn't take the ticker, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, we are also ready. Okay.
The last one that I sent you.
I think it's time to say to all of you, welcome to Crypto Malta. Tonight we are going to sit down for a second. Oh, this is okay. Somebody else on stage here with me. I'll get into that in a second. First things first, tonight we are not going to talk about the global payment alternatives. For the speaker, unfortunately, couldn't make it tonight. So we have a replacement presentation where we are going to talk about protecting your wealth in times of war. Is this correct? Yes, it is correct. It follows up a little bit on what we were talking about last week when we were explaining the seed signer, a very, very safe tool to protect your Bitcoin no matter what happens. Because in the end, and I can say this now, since this presentation is canceled, never trust a payment provider with your money. Always keep your own Bitcoin, not your coin, not your ski, not your coin. Remember this lesson. We learned it the hard way this week. Okay, we are here at Crypto Hub Malta. My name is Ferris. I'm going to give a little introduction to who we are and what it is we do. Today, somebody came to me and asked me, Ferris, where can I check up on the activities and the events you do? And I'm like, glad you asked that question because we are on cryptohubmalta.org, our website, where a lot of development is happening and a lot of progress is happening. Very soon, there will be some functions for the member of CryptoHub that want to join to get the advantages. This will all be on the website. Telegram group, most important forum where we talk. If you are not part of the Telegram group, ask someone next to you who is, because it's a private group, not because we are super exclusive, but because if we make this public, there will be a lot of spam bots there. And of course, Instagram. Instagram, to me, special week. Pause. I'll just load this. This will take forever. We passed 2,000 followers on Instagram only this week. So if you are a follower on Instagram, please don't dislike us and unfollow because then we drop below 2,000. This happened up and down, like the Bitcoin price sometimes. Okay, I think I'm done with the basic presentations. As I said in the beginning, unfortunately today, the main speaker couldn't make it. So we chopped off their head.
You got the B. You got the B team.
No, we got the A team. Actually, we got the A tailors. They are tailors from the UK, and they are going to explain for a second why this mannequin is standing here. For me, the most important thing about my suits, as you know, I'm always wearing very fashionable outfits, but if I buy a suit, the most important thing for me is that you can pay in crypto. And this is the case here. Those tailors, they accept crypto payments. They're based in the UK, south of Manchester, and that means they're outside of the European Union. And that means if you send your crypto there, you'll get a very nice suit, no questions asked. Okay, before I draw this into a too dark alley here, it's beautiful suits, and they're not like only black suits with a navy blue with a black tie. They are tailor-made, so you can adjust them to whatever you feel like. Me personally, I would love an orange suit with a white Bitcoin logo on top, but that is just a dream. We can do that. Done deal, done deal. It's an ambition and a dream, but the tailors are going to tell you everything about their work and what they're doing in Malta right now. So please, up on stage. I will do that. I'll do that. Here's the microphone, and the rest I'm going to be here for you. Excellent.
Firstly, guys, I do apologise for reading off the phone, but public speaking, not my thing. I don't want to miss anything out. So my name's Mitch. This is Carl. We're happy to be here. So we're Harris and Howard Bespoke. We're professional clothiers based in the UK. We make bespoke, made-to-measure clothing such as jackets, jeans, suits, and shirts. We describe ourselves as visit tailors. So we most of our clients appreciate the service where we visit them at their office or their home, minimizing disruption. We have 2 beautiful showrooms in the northwest of England. We can also be found on Savile Row. The main benefit of bespoke clothing is the fit. So when clothes fit better, they feel more comfortable and they last longer. We've got a fantastic range of over 3,000 cloths for suits and 800 cottons for shirts. 30 different options of jacket button, collar, lapel, and vent to your choice. Every single detail is tailored to your preference. Our clothing ranges from suits and shirts, bomber jackets, chinos, and jeans. We can make practically anything. Of course, we aim to help you by offering advice on the best cuts, colours, styles, and patterns to get you the compliments. Our main goal, trying to break into the Malta market, is to get you the compliments you recommend us to other people. We've found out that it's pretty clicky around here, so we want to build relationships and provide the best service that we possibly can. The main reason for our success when we ask our clients is upgrade. So they realise when we ask them that they're still shopping at the same places they were when they started their careers, even though their homes have enlarged and the cars have got fancy badges. Our aim is to bring the wardrobe up to the same level. We offer a 100% guarantee on products and service. We have a unique, transparent pricing policy where everybody pays the same, whether international sports star or junior executive. The finest garments are created using layers of canvas within the construction. So the canvas is made of horsehair rather than bonding. So ready-made suits off the shelf, it's basically glue. So if you wash them a few times, you start seeing little bits of bubbling within there. The horsehair has a memory, so it molds to your body, feels lovely, and you pay for the price. That's we offer 2 options. So there's a fully canvas garment, which goes through the entire front and the collar, or a half canvased for those that are not doing that well in crypto at the minute. So it's a dangerous thing, guys. Dangerous game. That's pretty much it. Any questions? Fire them at us. We're happy to answer them. So
if you have some questions, open the hands. There's a question outside coming to you. Of course, I have a question to Carl, and that is why there is a QR code on the screen, but we get to that later.
Hello, thank you. Do you have a John Wick edition, so a bulletproof one, or?
of course.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good. We will talk later.
There was another one for James Bond here.
Just out of interest, general pricing on the suit, the range, and general pricing on the shirt as a range. Yeah.
We start at 1,200 and go from there. Probably averaging about 2,000 for a suit. Our shirts start at 229 and then go from there, averaging 269.
Okay, thank you.
John Wick edition is about 669. So.
Is that 1,200 euro, pounds, Bitcoin?
Either, anything. Yeah.
Couldn't afford it in Bitcoin. Were those all the questions? Because if this is the case, I will return to my initial question about this dubious QR code. What is this about?
So we decided for this evening to have a bit of a prize draw. If you go to the QR code, put your email address in, you'll be entered. We're going to donate a bespoke shirt for one person, a bottle of fragrance for somebody else, and then the third person will receive some box shorts and socks made out of bamboo. Should be the finest you've ever had.
Are you going to take the measures for the shirt tonight of the person that wins?
Thank you.
Gentlemen and ladies, this is it. Tonight, somebody will go home with the measures and receive, of course, later a shirt. And I want to be clear, this is both for male and female.
That's fine. Yeah.
I asked before. And sorry, if you just step This is, of course, for all the crypto degenerates here, the most important thing, because there's a countdown. You see it ticking there. Right now, it's ticking for 1 hour and 52 minutes, but we are going to end probably around 9 p.m. or maybe even 8:45. What I'm trying to be clear about here in no uncertain ways is scan this QR code. You need to leave your name and your email address to be considered part of the raffle. It's also in the Telegram group. So if you don't manage to catch it right now, after the presentation here from Antonio, we're going to show it again. Go to the Telegram group. You'll find it there also with the link that you can just click on or scan it now. And then the tailors will be back after the presentation with a raffle for a shirt, for some underwear, or a perfume. And the shirt will be measured tonight. That's great. Thank you very much for that. So as I said before, unfortunately, we had a short-term cancellation for tonight. But of course, we are decentralized and unstoppable. So we didn't stop the show tonight. And Antonio, on a whim, I called him like around noon. Hey, Antonio, are you ready? It's like, I'm born ready. And he is. So here, we are going to hear the presentation of Antonio, which is like almost about the same topic, because we are constantly at war with the payment providers. Payment provider didn't come, so Antonio is going to talk about crypto versus war. Antonio, perfect.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let me just see if this one is working fine. Just a moment. Always can do it from the. Is that your video? No, just put it here how cool I missed it. There you go. So we can go in like this. We do it the old way, manually. So guys, maybe some of you have been here before when I did a special presentation on Bitcoin, how Bitcoin can stop the wars. Maybe some of you have been here. So today, this is like a little bit of an advantage, I would say, for what crypto can do in a time of war. Because usually people never think like, you know what, war might come one day. Because what we say, no, Malta is neutral for sure. There is no bombs falling here. We're all safe, right? I can imagine around 3 months ago, everybody was thinking the same in Dubai, right? On the beach, you're saying, no, Shahids will not fly here for sure, right? Today, everybody from Dubai is in Singapore. What happened? Today is safe, tomorrow is not. Because at the end of the day, this is something you cannot predict, no matter how much you try. Let me tell you another interesting story. I don't know if you know, but 2 months ago, there was a Ukrainian attack on a Russian ship from Malta. Somebody know about this? So, are we safe? You never know. Why? Same with Cyprus. Today, Cyprus will not have a summer season. I don't know if you've seen. It takes one drone to fall, even not to fall, just to come close to the island. And nobody will come for the season for sure. What I'm trying to say is that this is when we were talking about business. But think about out of a sudden a war starts. And again, wars usually do not come with a, you know what, warning, you need to run. Usually they start. And when they start, then you don't have a lot of time to think. But you do have time before. Why am I saying this? Because at the end of the day, we need to know what to do when nothing that we know works. Because it's very easy to think what is the best asset to have when everything is functioning. There is internet, we have a lot of businesses open, constantly we can reach wherever we need to reach, right? But what if everything is in chaos? Then what? And all this money that you have invested in, I don't know, stocks and gold, and do they work for you then? Let's check. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a basic analysis on several questions to see what of these capital goods actually functions and can be used in a different type of environment, especially when we're talking about absolute chaos. Now, we took cryptocurrencies, we took gold, real estate, and stocks. We took these because they are the most favorite of any other capital goods for investment. I'm talking this because somebody might say, why not oil? Can you keep an oil in a barrel in the background, like I don't know, in the yard? No, you cannot, right? Same with cash. Okay, I get it. You might keep some amount of cash, but let's be honest, you cannot keep like 3 million of cash. You cannot travel with 3 million of cash. It's kind of unpractical, right? Somebody might kill you. You never know. Now, when we take these four investment, I would say giants, we take them because people usually invest the most of their capital in these four categories, because it's the best thing to actually preserve your, let's say, wealth on a long term, more or less, let's say. But let's compare them now to different categories. As I said, when nothing works, how likely is it to someone will devalue it? How easy is it to hold it in custody, directly to be permanently in your hands? How easy is it to liquidate, use it as a means of payment, or convert it into another form of capital, assets and services? Is it easy to transport? Can it be confiscated against your will? And how easy is it to do so? What is its long-term durability? And can it be divided into smaller units? Now, these are simple questions that we need to know on a daily basis when everything works, but also when nothing works. Why am I saying this? Let's go with the first question. How likely is it that someone will devalue it? When we're talking about a normal basis, normal way of functioning in society, gold, this is one of the new, let's say, the newest news I could find on new discoveries of gold, let's say, deposits. Iran uncovers new gold mine in South Khorasan province on the 1st of December 2025. And now all of a sudden they need democracy. 2 months after, they started bombing them. But let's say it's not about that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that we constantly find new deposits of gold. And we're talking on this planet. 2028, they already plan to have a base on the moon. 2030, probably they will be planning to do it on Mars, right? How do we know that there is no gold on the moon, for example? Maybe they will find a very big amount of gold. Then practically everything that we currently have as a basis of the value of gold will fall right away. When we're talking about real estate, this is, as you can see, a chart of how the real estate is growing. And this is, as you can see, percentage-wise on an annual base. We have grown from 3 up to 11% from 2015 to 2025. Depends on the year. So sometimes real estate is growing 11% on a global scale, which means sooner or later, we will have more than enough homes. And again, when we talk about centers like, I don't know, Dubai and Singapore and New York, where you really need, let's say, this kind of commodity, obviously, it's very expensive. But then we have cities that are practically empty. And you can get, I don't know, like a 3-story house for like 5,000 euros. Why? Because nobody lives in these places. I can tell you, I'm coming from the Balkans. Every country that went to the European Union, for example, Bulgaria, there are cities like Houston that are empty, literally. You can buy a whole apartment block without a problem. What I'm trying to say is that sooner or later, we'll come to the point that we'll have more than enough housing. So it means there is always a chance that somebody will devalue this. And we've seen it so many times in the market. Same goes with the stock. With a simple decision of a board of directors, they can dilute the stock. They don't need to ask you. Maybe the bylaws of the company say, okay, you have to get an approval from the, I don't know, stock owners of the privileged stock owners, etc., but doesn't matter. That doesn't change the fact that the baseline company can devalue the stock by issuing more stock at any time if they, let's say, do what they need to do by the bylaws. What I'm trying to say is that cryptocurrencies, when they have this inside their code, it is very almost impossible to change. Why am I saying this? For you to change the 21 million amount of Bitcoins, you need to persuade more than 50% of the miners to vote for the change of the total amount of Bitcoin. And this will never happen. Why? The human greed is the main factor that the inflation of Bitcoin will never change. And it will always be 21 million. Why? Because if you ask me as a miner to change this, you're asking me to devalue the amount of Bitcoin that I have, which means I will never allow it, right? Why would I do that? Why would I allow somebody to practically mint more Bitcoin? Obviously, I won't. So what I'm trying to say is that not only Bitcoin, let's say Ethereum, believe it or not, has a better inflation than Bitcoin. Currently, with the burn rate, they have a better inflation than Bitcoin. the inflation of Ethereum is around 0.4, and of Bitcoin is around 0.7, 0.8, something like that. And there is other ones, like, for example, I don't know, BNB. 1/3 of the coins are already burned. So what I'm trying to say is that this commodity has been made to be less on the market. And as we go in the future, most of these coins, they have managed to put algorithms to make it less and less and less of the coins to make them grow in value. Something that is practically impossible in the other categories. So what I'm trying to say is that if none of the other cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin will definitely always be 21 million. And we're talking about devaluation. Obviously, nobody will be issuing stock if there are bombs falling. But in this case, obviously, we need to talk about normal way of functioning of society. Let's go to the next one. How easy is it to keep it in custody? Directly, to be in your hands at all time. This is very important because do you have time to go and stand in front of the bank if, again, bombs start falling? Obviously not. Why am I saying this? Let's say that you have safe in HSBC or, I don't know, in BOV, and you have, let's say, 2 bars of gold inside. Will you have the time to go and pick them up? Do you think the bank will open for you to go and pick them up if bombs start falling? What I'm trying to say is that in these kind of situations, you do want the gold to be in your hands, but do you have the safety to keep a big amount of gold in your house? Will you build a safe home to keep the bars? I mean, good for you. If you do, then perfect for you. But generally speaking, not a lot of people can do that. And don't forget, you need to travel with these things if the bombs start falling. Also, if you do have a gold, let's say in an unphysical form, I don't know, futures of gold, mine stocks, or etc., you do not have it. This is not in your hands. This is a paper or a number on a screen. You do not own this. The moment you don't have internet, that's it, my friend. Forget about it. This is not yours. Same goes with the real estate. Real estate is one of the worst categories for this kind of, I would say, situation, but people don't think like that. People buy 10 apartments, they don't think that one day something like this might happen. Because you cannot keep even one property safe. Depends on the place where you live. Imagine if you have 10, and imagine if tanks start rolling on the street. How safe do you think this is for you? Like, obviously not. But in the same time, what I'm trying to say is that this is not directly in your custody. Even if you try to protect it, you can protect one property. Can you be in 10 apartments at the same time? Obviously not. So this, especially if it's a bigger amount of property or real estate, it's not in your hands. In your hands is only one place where you live, maybe 2 if it's in the same street. More or less, that's it, how much you can have constantly and directly in your hands. Stocks. First of all, when it comes to stocks, there are countries like America that will not even allow you to have some kind of stocks. Why am I saying this? This cradle of democracy doesn't allow you to have certain stocks. They say you need to be accredited investor. It means you need to be rich enough for us to allow you to buy this stock to be richer. But if you're not rich enough, then we will not allow you. Because you might stop working. I mean, what we do now, if we have everybody rich, obviously. So in these kind of cases, obviously, there are countries that won't even allow you to have this stock. Then thinking about having it, etc., etc. And you don't own the stock. Let me tell you why. Physical owning of a stock is only when you personally go to a company. Let's say they have these special meetings for, let's say when they have a quarterly meeting where they actually sometimes decide to sell stock as well. So people are bidding. Let's say you want to buy, you manage, you're over there, you bought, you paid for it. Then you go personally to the registry for stocks for this kind of, special, let's say, documents, and they issue a document that you actually have this stock and you own it. This is the only way for you to actually have some physical document that you actually own the stock. Otherwise, again, we're talking about numbers on a screen. The moment, for any kind of reason, the application doesn't work, there is no internet, guess what, my friend? You don't have stock. Another interesting thing, let's say you have Robinhood, and then you go for some reason not that you go for some reason to North Korea or Syria, but let's say somehow you found yourself there. Why am I saying this? Because some of these providers of services that you've bought stocks from, they don't work in certain countries. Like, for example, Robinhood decided they were not going to work in Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Syria, Crimea, or Ukraine. What I'm trying to say is that at any time, this company can decide, you know what, I will not work for this, let's say, state. just because we decided. It's not safe. So what I'm trying to say is that they take away the right for you to directly control what you own, which is very problematic. Guess who doesn't do that? Crypto. And one more last thing, there is a opening hours, which means even if you do own the stock, usually some of the exchanges they do allow, but usually they don't allow. They're waiting for you to practically open the market a certain time, depends on which market you have the stock from, for you to be able to sell it or buy. Which means again, you own it, but in a certain schedule, and you can do something with it in a certain schedule, which is very ridiculous if you ask me in 21st century. Again, the only thing that you physically own at any time is cryptocurrency, because you can own it in God knows how many ways. In an only phrase, you have a ledger with you. You don't even need to own it with you. Just need to remember 25 words. You go on the other side. Guess what, my friend? It's with you. Can somebody take it away from you? Only if you give them the 25 words. If they don't know that you have it, guess what? They don't even know that they can ask it from you, right? What I'm trying to say is that the only thing currently in the world that you physically own at any time is cryptocurrencies. I don't see anything else that can be in this way characterized. How easy is it to liquidate? As a means of payment or convert into another form of capital, assets and services. Now, gold. Yes, true. You can use gold to buy something. I understand. But can you use gold to go and buy bread? Take a piece of gold and go, I don't know, to the convenience store and ask the person that works over there, can I pay you with this small bar? Obviously, you cannot. Even if you do so, they will very much overcharge you. Let me tell you right away. Let's say, as we said, bombs are falling, right? You whatever you have, you used to pay. How do you prove to these people how pure is this gold? How do you prove how many carats this gold is? You cannot, obviously, right? What I'm trying to say is that if you need to use this means to pay something, aside from that, we're going to talk later on how much you can make it in a smaller pieces. But let's say you have some gold, right? Then you want to pay something. You have, let's say, one, I don't know, piece of jewelry, one ring. And you go, can you divide it in front over there so you can buy just one bread? Obviously not. What I'm trying to say is they will overcharge you. This is very impractical to use, especially in these kind of situations. As everybody's saying, keep the gold, you know? In these kind of situations, you need gold. Yes, I can see. Real estate, guess what, my friend? Now, that's a funny story. Try to use real estate quickly to buy something. Of course, especially, again, if the bombs are falling. Stock only in places where your platform is available. I personally don't know of a way to use it as a means of payment. I'm not going to say that I know that you cannot for sure. Maybe somebody from you has, I don't know, some kind of application that connects your stocks to a debit card. And then, for example, when you try to sell some of it to buy, it automatically does as they do with crypto. It's possible. I'm not saying no. But generally speaking, 99% of the time, I don't think you can use stock for any kind of payment on the spot. Again, we're talking bombs are falling. You're not going to say to the, let me just connect to my application and I'm going to just try to sell my stock to, you understand my point? Obviously not practical. Again, how many ways we have to interact with crypto? Peer-to-peer. You offer to somebody right away. Can I send you some of this for you to give me some of this? Lightning Network. At any time, anybody that has it, you can use it right away. Texas and Dexes, again, central exchanges, decentralization, they actually give you services like you can have the money on the centralized exchange, you can use a debit card to buy. I mean, I have at least 3 of them in my pocket, which means I don't even need internet. If the money are there and I have them, for example, 2 Ethereum on my Binance account, I can use the Binance debit card to buy anything, anywhere, anytime, if I need to use it on the spot. And what I'm trying to say, even for cash, you can literally go and say to somebody, you know what, I'm going to send you on your account this, can you please give me some cash? It works. How many? I don't know, in Malta, not that many, but in my country, for example, on every street, there is a small exchange shop that you can sell crypto for cash immediately, no problem, no questions asked. What I'm trying to say, it's very liquid. You can use it, especially in these kind of situations. Now, when we're talking about transportation, now this is a funny subject. I mean, obviously, we're going to start with the real estate. Try to transport the house. Again, especially if we have bombs falling, right? Try to transport the house. I mean, or what about gold? The safest thing you can have in a war. I've been hearing this from my grandfather before and my father. How are you going to transport it? If we're talking about a bigger amount of gold, not talking about 3 pieces of jewelry with you, nobody will ask. How are you going to transport 2 bars of gold? You don't have time to organize transport. It's not possible. They started falling yesterday. And today you need to go to the airport. You go to the airport. Guess what's going to happen when you take out 2 bars of gold from your suitcase, my friend? Not only that you're not going to pass, you're going to go to the small room and you're going to be naked. And some things will happen that you will remember all your life, right? Let's be honest now. Because we're talking about 2 bars of gold. It's not a small thing. And what about stocks? Again, same situation. Okay, you don't need to carry them with you. But again, you were living in America. At one point, the president decided that you need to be deported. And you find yourself in Cuba, sunny Cuba. But guess what? Interactive brokers, they don't work in Cuba. Now what? You woke up, it was on a plane, they arrested you, somebody smacked you on the head, now you're in a sunny Cuba. What you gonna do? The only things that you had were in stocks. And now what? What I'm trying to say is that when you have stocks, again, always, these are numbers on a screen. And you do have rights to them only if the country where you live allows you, if the market is open and you have internet to do so. Otherwise, very, very problematic to actually use it in this kind of situation. Can it be confiscated against your will, and how easy is it to do so? Now we have 2 situations, obviously, normal day and a day in a war. On a normal day, this is called forfeiture. There is plenty of reasons how they can do this. We're going to mention some of them. When we come to the point of real estate and stocks, it's more or less similar. Why am I saying this? A court can decide to confiscate anything from you. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. Sometimes it's not even your fault, especially if we're talking about stock. Let's say the directors of the company that you bought stock from, they were doing something on the side, they were doing something illegal, and obviously this was later on delivered to a court, and the court says, you know what, we're going to confiscate everything the company owns, and we're going to use this to pay the people or companies that were practically in wrong, right? That they had damages from this. Guess what? This is including your stock, which means they will sell everything the company owns to pay anybody that was damaged by whatever it was illegal going on in the company. And guess what's going to happen to your stock? Nothing. You don't have rights to it. You're going to say, but I didn't do it? Again, not your problem. You cannot do anything about it because the court always first will prioritize people that were damaged by your company. And then if something is left, you can actually try to get some of it practically as a piece of value. Same goes with the real estate. Obviously, it can be confiscated from you at any time. Again, yes, in this case, you need to do something bad, but it can be confiscated very easy with a piece of paper. And then they will come and they will personally take you out with police, and you do not own this place. That's it, finished. And there is the second place, which is a little bit scary. It's called nationalization. Now, everybody is coming from Eastern Europe know exactly what I'm talking about. For some reason, the regime in your country changed, and they decided that the business that you own is critical for the country. And you know what, my friend? Now it's not your business. And the people that own the stock, they don't know anything anymore. Why? Because it's owned by the country. The country says this is critical for our future, and we're not going to allow somebody to profit out of it. And they will not give you anything, usually, or they will give you something small, just to say, here we go, we paid them. We've seen this so many times. One of the most recent is PDVSA. I think Trump lost part of his hair because of this case. So PDVSA in Venezuela decided to kick all these colonizing companies that were practically stealing the oil from Venezuela and decided to nationalize everything. Guess what happened to the stocks of the stock owners of these companies? Nothing, no rights. So again, they can be taken from you, even if you don't like it, even if you're right, nobody asks you. You don't have rights. They can take it from you. Same goes with gold. Now everybody will constantly say, 1933, the president decided and they took out the gold and everybody had to, but this is not the only case. We're talking about this complicated case. There they were telling you guys, come, we will pay you something, even if it's toilet paper in color. Doesn't matter, we'll give you something for it. Do you know what they gave the Iraqis when they took their gold? You see this? nice looking democracy bringing guy. He is in a picture of a container with $868 million worth of gold. This is not Saddam Hussein's gold. This is Iraqi's people gold. And they took it away. Obviously, for exchange of democracy, I can see, but doesn't matter. The idea is that at any time, somebody can come and guess what, my friend? They will take it away from you. They have the apparatus of force. You do not. And the last one, but not the least, this is Second World War. These people dressed in sharp suits, skeleton heads, SS, probably you know about them. What you can see over here is a big trunk of wedding bands. No, not only Jewish, believe it or not, there were other nationalities that were killed as well. So everybody from these concentration camps. Can you please tell these people, but you know, this is very sentimental for me. I want to keep it. Guess what? When we're talking about war, gold is the first thing that gets confiscated. We're talking everything you own, even your teeth, believe it or not. I didn't want to put it, but there was a case next to it with golden teeth. So what I'm trying to say, be careful what you're keeping in these kind of situations. Guess what? They cannot take from you. Again, if I do not want to give it to you, even if you put a revolver on my head, if I don't want to give it to you, you will not get it. There is no way for you to take it away from me if I don't want to give it to you. You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, this is sounding like something else, but we're still talking about capital and crypto. It wasn't about something else, again. So what I'm trying to say is that this is, as you can see, the safest thing to have in these kind of situations, that they cannot extract from you if you do not want to allow them to have it. Crypto, again. Now, how long is this longevity? Like, is it long? Can it last? Obviously, in war, come on. Real estate, forget about it. All these towers in Dubai, if the war continues, sorry, guys. GG, well played. When we're talking about long-term, obviously, time frame, real estate is something that is the least, I would say, with the longevity. Practically, it doesn't last. If you do not constantly invest in this kind of property, it will fall apart. And we all know this. So this is definitely something you don't want to have either long-term, or in this case, we're talking about wars and stuff, for sure, the worst thing to have. Liquidation. When we're talking about longevity, stocks stop existing when a company is liquidated. This is the ultimate, practically, time frame for a stock. When the company is liquidated for no matter what reason. Is it voluntarily? Is it because of, as we said, forfeiture, judge ordered, etc., etc.? This moment, the stocks stop existing. And again, what if a bomb falls on the last Rafahan, how is it called in Qatar, LNG production center, and you have stocks over there? How much do you think those stocks are worth now? I'm just saying, keep in mind, you own something. Usually these companies, they do have real estate. If this real estate is for any reason even threatened, guess what happens to your stock? And again, longevity, always two champions. First one is gold, because from all the metals, gold, although one of the softest, is one of the longest living. It does not react with any chemicals, etc., etc. We're not going to go to chemistry school. The idea is that gold really has the longevity, I would say, second place. Why? Because always first place goes to crypto. As long as you keep the 25 words safe, guess what? It can be eternal. Again, depends on how long we're not going to kill each other with nuclear weapons. But other than that, I don't think there is other way to actually destroy this if you are keeping the phrase safe. Can it be divided into smaller units? Again, real estate, how can I tell you? Even on a normal day, try to divide the real estate in smaller units. That's a fun thing to do. And a long thing to do. When we're talking about gold, again, same situation. Yes, I've seen very small units of gold. That's true. Not saying no. But how practical are they? Who ever took a small piece of gold to carry in his wallet? Or how do you, in a purse, how do you carry this? I mean, maybe somebody from you knows. I personally don't have an idea how I would carry this, obviously. And when we're talking about stocks, yes, some platforms, they do allow for you to have part of a share, because not everybody has, I don't know, like $1,000 to buy one NVIDIA share. How much is it right now? I don't follow anyway. The idea is that even if you do own part of a share, you do need to think about using this. And again, it's practically useless in the real world. If you don't have a platform and you cannot sell it, and then you cannot transfer it to a credit card, maybe somehow. And again, guess who's the absolute champion? Not only Bitcoin, obviously, every currency have to I don't know, at least 6 smaller parts. They are all called differently, like Quay in Ethereum, Satoshi in Bitcoin, etc., etc. But the idea is that crypto is something that can be divided to a very small unit. So it means it's very practical when you need to have smaller units to use for anything, including payments and transactions and whatever. Now, if we find ourselves in a state of global crisis or war, we recommend that you think very carefully about what capital good you will allocate your capital to. The characteristics of the capital goods we have researched have clearly disadvantages and advantages. Decide carefully. What I'm trying to say is that everybody from us is hoping that bombs will not start falling tomorrow. But you never know. And at the end of the day, if you need to have something liquid to take with you, and we're talking about big amounts of capital, and some of you might have, that doesn't change the fact that from all you've seen here, I think the clear winner is crypto. At least this is my opinion. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Antonio. There's a chance now for some questions. Question there, I'm coming out to you. Antonio, you mentioned if somebody, they take the rings of engagement from you, and this is like your emotional attention. Let me tell you, if somebody comes to take my Bitcoin to confiscate them, I am very emotionally attached to my Bitcoin. And if you take them, I will cry. Here's the first question.
I'm sure Nazis would definitely fall for it.
Thanks for your presentation, like usual.
Thank you.
Very good talk. You were speaking about properties. I think Larry Finks mentioned something like there will be a tokenization of property. So you said you cannot split a property in parts, but like that, he will do it, and I think others will follow for sure.
No, that's true. I mean, there is timeshares, there is different type of, this is not before tokenization, that's true. Timeshare is one of those types. For example, when you own a property, but you own it at a certain time from the year. What I'm trying to say, that's true. But until we do have tokenization, until I can actually put property in a NFT form or a token form on my ledger, this doesn't work. It's a good idea. I'm a big investor in, let's say, projects that are doing this, like Ondo and Canton, etc., etc. But so far, the only thing they managed to tokenize in a proper way is cash. And again, holding cash in a war that you don't know who's going to win, I can tell you the Iranians that were holding cash are very sad to do that. Now their cash doesn't exist anymore. So if I don't have it on my ledger in a tokenized form, so far it doesn't count. But that's at least my opinion.
Up with the hands for the questions. Antonio, maybe the most important thing to remember about Bitcoin and war are the fundamentals. I mean, you mentioned many of them, but it's especially that Bitcoin is actually always there, unless like the whole internet gets destroyed and you're attached to it. But what if something happens, and this is like not war, but this is something many people, they talk about, quantum computing. If the whole system of the encryption gets destroyed, how are you going to protect yourself against that? Maybe in the case of war, you know?
So first you said internet, already solution for that. There are actual satellites that transmit to most of the miners around the world, which means failed internet, Bitcoin still works. There is a way for you to actually connect to this network without internet. And also there is another way through mobile phone without internet. You just need an actual connection as a phone. I've seen this in Africa. People literally send Bitcoin with SMS. What I'm trying to say, there is a solution. It already exists. And there is several companies that are dedicated to this for the Bitcoin network to be safe, even if there is no internet at all. Second thing about the quantum computing. Now, I don't know if you've seen, but there was new research from Google, especially the IE part of Google, which has given rewards to Algorand and Cardano as the two top protected, I would say, blockchains from quantum computing. Algorand, believe it or not, you can check this, obviously, it's a public news. Algorand is #1, and this was years ago. I've been discussing this for all the videos that we have for Algorand. I really don't remember the Italian's name that he actually did the algorithm. He has managed to implement quantum computing protection 4 years ago, believe it or not. And Cardano is the second place, and then later on, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, etc., etc. What I'm trying to say, these two blockchains, Cardano and Algorand, were by Google. They admitted that they are safe from any type of quantum computing. And now for Bitcoin, they are already developing. There is like a whole group of developers that are literally working on this problem to find a way to upgrade the blockchain to be quantum computer safe. And let's not forget, the quantum computers that we currently use are far from capable of attacking Bitcoin. Far from. Again, not me. These are a lot smarter people than me that have proven that so far the blockchain is safe, and they are working on making it even safer. So let's see.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions right now for Antonio? Because if not, I would like to ask Harris and Howard, the tailors, to come on stage so we can continue with the raffle. Remember, somebody here is going to get a tailor-made shirt. There will be some underwear and a perfume. If you have not signed up for it yet, make sure to scan this QR code right now and you'll be part of the raffle.
It's free, guys. It's not a blag. Don't worry about it. No scam. Free shirts.
Definitely not a scam.
So let's worry about scam.
It's true. Guys, are you ready? Did you scan it or not? Anybody who still wants to scan it who didn't have the chance? Come up if you need to go up. It's also in the Telegram group where you can scan it. If nothing else, are we ready from the raffle? Does the tool work? Let's ask the tailors. Carl, are you? Because if this raffle does not work, we have already a great backup plan. And let me tell you, it has something to do with whom like the event on social media. But I hope it does not come to that. While Carl is figuring out if it works or not,
Smell the favorites.
let them smell it. Just a little shout out to the people supporting us here. I didn't mention this in the beginning, but the Bit Research is a non-custodial trading firm. If you want to step up your game in trading and it doesn't go so well, or maybe because it goes extremely well, if it